5 minutes ago, Representative Jamie Raskin stepped to the microphone and delivered a sentence that instantly electrified the room and sent a chill through Washington. And let me make something crystal clear. I never said Jeffrey Epstein didn't traffic other people, other women, and they're not other victims. This is the investigation we were given from 2006, 7, and 8, and the search warrants from 2006, 7, and 8. That's what we're working with. Wait, have you released all of the stuff that the FBI has seized from Epstein's house? The computers, the emails, the file cabinets, the documents? What about the financial records? Have you released all of that? Everything the court has allowed us to release. Which court are you talking about? 3 separate federal courts have come in and said, we're talking about the evidence you've got. It's got nothing to do with what those courts have. Do you have any law works? Do you want me to break the law in a federal judge's order? No. I want you to follow your own word, Director Patel. You said up there it was under the direct control of the FBI. Director, he had the black book you have direct control over. We have gone to court. You have complete your sentence. Everything you have direct control over. You said have gone to court, and everything we have direct control over. Complete your sentence. You said everything we release, we're releasing. Much more has come out in the days since the American people in Congress have been demanding it, but it's coming out in dribs and drabs. Why don't you just release the entire file as you promised to do? I literally just told you there are multiple federal court orders. I'm not going to break the law to satisfy your curiosity. You didn't join us when we filed court to release the court orders. You could have. You have lawyers. You could have shown up. You didn't do that. Let's talk about the witness interviews, 302s of witness interviews. Those are not subject to the court order. Those are not subject to any fictional sealed order for a search warrant. Why aren't you releasing those with the redacted names of the victims? We are releasing as much as legally allowed. That's why we went back. How is that? How is that not legally allowed? Sir, do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders work? Actually, Mr. Patel, I was a prosecutor, a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how. So I was a fake one. You are hiding the Epstein files. Mr. is expired. You are part of the cover Epstein. According to Raskin, the paper trail showed a chain of decisions stretching far beyond one office, reaching from the FBI all the way to the White House. The hearing room went silent. Cameras tightened their focus. At the witness table, FBI Director Kash Patel visibly stiffened, his posture changing almost instantly. Raskin is not known for bluffing, and everyone in that room understood it. A constitutional law scholar, a former professor, and the lead manager of President Trump's second impeachment, Raskin is known for precision and restraint. He documents every claim and chooses his words with care, and on this morning, with thousands of pages of records in his possession, he appeared intent on laying out what he described as the most sweeping institutional cover-up in modern American history. Raskin made it clear that what he was about to explain, names, dates, internal orders, would fundamentally alter how the Epstein case is understood. He urged viewers to stay with the proceedings, warning that the revelations would escalate quickly and dramatically. According to Raskin, the chain of events leading to this moment began the night before. Around 11 p.m., an anonymous package was delivered to his congressional office. Inside was a USB flash drive. The drive, he said, contained 2,300 pages of emails, internal notes, and reports taken from the FBI's internal communication system. Raskin and his staff worked through the night, authenticating the files. They examined metadata, matched timestamps, cross-referenced names, and verified internal routing markers. By early morning, Raskin concluded the documents were authentic. At 6 a.m., he issued a brief statement indicating that he would be making historic disclosures during that day's hearing. By the time the House Oversight Committee convened at 10 a.m., the room was packed. Seats were filled, reporters lined the walls, and cameras covered every angle. Patel arrived with an unusually large legal team, 6 attorneys, far more than he had brought to previous hearings. Observers noted his red eyes and slower movements. The first hour unfolded as expected. Routine questions, cautious answers, procedural back and forth. Then Raskin was recognized. He approached the podium carrying a thick black binder marked "Confidential Declassified" in red lettering. He placed it on the table and addressed Patel directly. Today's discussion, Raskin said, would be different. This time there would be no speculation and no hypotheticals. He said he would rely solely on documentary evidence. Raskin opened the binder and began presenting the contents. The first document he highlighted was an email dated June 14, 2019, sent from the FBI's Miami field office to headquarters in Washington. The subject line referenced high-profile Epstein targets. According to the email, Miami agents reported that they had identified 34 individuals tied to Epstein, supported by witness statements, flight records, and photographic evidence. The field office requested authorization to formally open investigations. Raskin then revealed the response from Washington. The answer, he said, was a refusal framed as delay. "Not available at this time," the response read, bearing the signature of FBI leadership at the time. Raskin paused to let the meaning settle in. 34 names supported by evidence, and federal investigators were told to wait. He continued, producing document after document. An internal memo from August 2019, shortly after Epstein's death, stating that the Epstein case would be closed and that all related side investigations were to be suspended. Another document from January 2020, months before Ghislaine Maxwell's arrest, in which an FBI analyst wrote that sufficient evidence existed to proceed against Maxwell and questioned why no action was being taken. The response cited political sensitivities and advised waiting. Raskin then turned to a document dated March 2021 after Maxwell's conviction. According to the memo, Maxwell had named 47 individuals connected to Epstein. The document recommended further investigation. Scrawled across it was a handwritten note: "Not approved. High-level decision." Raskin looked up and asked a simple question. Who made that decision? Who stopped the investigation into 47 individuals named in court proceedings? He then presented what he described as the most disturbing document in the collection, a single-page memo dated February 3, 2025, 2 weeks after Patel assumed office as FBI director. The memo, on official FBI letterhead, was sent from the director's office to all field offices nationwide. Its subject: new directives regarding the Epstein investigation. Raskin read it aloud. All active Epstein-related files were to be transferred to headquarters. No field office was permitted to initiate or continue investigations without central approval. All witness interviews were to be suspended. All document requests were to be denied. Raskin paused, looked directly at Patel, and pointed to the signature at the bottom. It bore Patel's name. The room erupted. Reporters jumped to their feet. The committee chair banged the gavel, calling for order. Patel's attorneys leaned in, whispering urgently, but Patel appeared frozen, staring straight ahead. Raskin waited for the room to settle before asking Patel whether he recognized the document. Patel's attorney intervened, saying his client needed time to review it. Raskin responded pointedly that the document carried Patel's signature and asked how much time was required to recognize one's own name. Patel finally spoke, quietly saying the document was being taken out of context. Raskin responded by presenting additional records. He stated that after the February 3rd directive, FBI activity related to Epstein dropped by more than 90%. Interviews stopped. Analysis stopped. Field investigations stopped. According to Raskin, the investigation effectively ended when Patel took office. Raskin then introduced another detail. On the same day Patel signed the directive, Patel had attended a meeting at the White House. 2 hours after that meeting, the directive was issued. Raskin asked what was discussed at that meeting. At that point, Patel's lead attorney stood and announced that his client would invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination and would not answer further questions. The room erupted again. Raskin acknowledged the right but emphasized its significance. The nation's top law enforcement official, he said, was refusing to answer questions about a child abuse investigation on the grounds that doing so could incriminate him. Raskin closed the binder, then opened one final document, a table created internally in 2021 listing individuals marked as not to be investigated in connection with Epstein. In 2025, during Patel's tenure, the list was formally designated as permanently closed. There were 47 names. Each was accompanied by a code explaining the reason: political sensitivity, diplomatic relations, national security, and finally, executive branch protection. Raskin explained what that last code meant. According to him, it meant protection originating from the highest levels of government. He ended by stating that the documents would be released publicly in full. Every page, every email, every directive. The names, he said, would come out as well. Perhaps not immediately, but inevitably. The hearing technically continued, but the outcome was already sealed. Within minutes, news alerts flashed nationwide. Social media surged. Analysts dissected the claims. One question dominated the conversation: who were the 47 names? What is known, according to Raskin, is this: the documents have been authenticated. The metadata aligns. The signatures have been verified. The Epstein investigation, he alleges, was deliberately stalled beginning in 2019 and formally halted in 2025. And dozens of individuals were shielded through classifications tied to political power, diplomacy, and executive authority. Raskin argued that invoking the Fifth Amendment was not a defense, but a confirmation of the stakes involved. In his view, the documents speak for themselves. Whether his claims withstand scrutiny remains to be seen, but in a matter of minutes, Raskin transformed a routine hearing into a national reckoning, anchored not in rhetoric but in records. The truth, he said, may emerge slowly, but it cannot be stopped.